Over the past 24 hours or so, Manchester United have been linked with a move for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. So I thought today, of course, I would bring my thoughts on the whole situation. First question, who is he? Well, he's a 25-year-old Englishman standing at around 5'10", 5'11", currently playing for Leicester City, where he currently has 3 years left on his contract. In terms of what he is as a footballer, I would describe him as a high 8 or maybe even a 10. Certainly, though, a midfielder and an advanced one. As you can see in his heat map from this season so far, you can see that he's not someone who drops deep and gets involved in that way. He wants to push a little bit further forward and get involved a little bit higher up the pitch. So the question is, what actually does he do once he's there? You know, we know he's a high midfielder, but what does he actually do in those positions? What are his strengths as a player? Well, that's what we're going to get onto here. What I really like about Dewsbury-Hall is the way he occupies these zones. Left-footed, for a start, something I really like in terms of joining United. That brings a different balance to the side, having a left-footer in the team. But what I really like is his ability to receive high up the pitch, in between the lines, on the back foot, and play on the half-turn. I really like that side of his game. So let's say perhaps a midfielder in a double pivot a little bit deeper, or one of the centre-backs is going to play the ball into him. It's his ability to kind of feel the contact from the player behind him, and then almost use that against the opposition to roll them and turn in towards these sorts of half spaces. I really love the way that he does this. He's really good in this area of the pitch. Something else I like is his ability at times to drop a little bit deeper and carry the ball forward. Not someone who's going to dribble forward. You know, he's not going to like beat a couple of players in that way, but in terms of just sheer running power and energy and engine in midfield, he has the ability to kind of burst through these gaps, carry the ball forward for his side. Importantly, he's also really good technically. Really good with the ball at his feet, very comfortable receiving the ball in different positions, uses his body well to often protect the ball. Again, when the opposition are trying to tackle him, he's going to get his body between the opposition and the ball, protect it for his side, and keep the ball pretty effectively. On top of that, he's also a good passer. Left foot or right foot, he can play forward, again, looking to play in behind the opposition, particularly on the transition. Let's say his team win the ball back in a deeper area, in this sort of position, get the ball to him quickly on transition. He's going to get the ball on the half turn in this position, and he's got runners from out wide or through the middle. He's really good at picking a pass in these positions. Really good at kind of threading the ball through the eye of the needle into these areas. Again, with his left foot or his right foot, which I think is really, really important. In terms of what he offers outside of that, it's the ability down the left-hand side to mix things up a little bit. So he can move high into a left half space position like this sort of area, almost De Bruyne-esque, but on the other side of the pitch, that sort of position. And then his crosses into the box are brilliant, by the way. Really, really good crosser of the ball. But also what I like is his willingness to do the selfless stuff. You know, make runs for his teammates so his teammates can move into different positions. So his left winger, for example, might come in. Dewsbury-Hall knows that his team still needs width, so he will then go on the overlapping run, get into these wider areas. And again, he can cross from here, or he might play a 1-2 and look for an underlapping run, something like that. But again, he's really intelligent. But it is all very much on the left side. He's not someone who's going to really pop up over on this side of the pitch. Very much a left-footed player who sticks to the left side, and he just plays with a really nice balance to his game. In terms of out of possession, really hard working. Really hard working. He's got a proper engine to him, a proper motor, but he just covers a lot of ground, a lot of energy. He's not by any means a ball-winning midfielder, let's make that clear. He's not someone who's going to get involved in loads of tackles and things like that. But if you want to play a high-pressing system, he will do it. He has the intelligence to do it, but also the work rate to do it, and also the stamina. He can press high for 90 minutes. He can do that. If you want to be a side which sits a little bit deeper, in a mid-block or a low block, he's willing to do that as well. And again, pretty effectively. I really like him in this way. And then kind of the cherry on top of the cake of all of that is his set-piece ability. Really good from his set pieces. And again, if we're talking United, perhaps we've struggled with that at times, he is a good set-piece taker with his left foot. That can be the outswinger from this side of the pitch, or the in-swinger over from the other side. Again, he's really, really effective. And in general, I actually like a lot of what he brings as a footballer. And I do see that he's a player where if you sign him, I don't think he's a ceiling raiser. I don't think he takes your side to the next level, but he raises the floor. He raises the technical level, the physical level, the foundation. He brings it up a little bit, which is something which I think United do need to do moving forward.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order.
We can see some examples of some of these strengths when we look at clips this season. For example here, overlapping on the left-hand side before playing the underlapping run from his teammate. Again, not something that United midfielders tend to do. It's a skill set which Dewsbury-Hall has, the ability to overlap down this side of the pitch. In general, I do like the fact that he's left-footed. I really do like that because it brings something different. The passing angles are completely different. And we can see, when he's in those areas, the eye for a pass is there. This is a really good ball to his right winger on the right-hand side of the attack. It's really, really effective. And it continues. Here's a ball, again, left-footed. He's going to be with his left foot most of the time. The crosses into these areas are so good. So dangerous. Whipping the ball into the danger area. And it's just a perfect momentum for someone else to run onto and try and put the ball in the back of the net. We've got another example here. It's a similar sort of position in his kind of half space on the left-hand side. He whips the ball in towards the back post. He's really effective and it's worked for him this season. We can see the number of goal contributions he's had in all competitions this year. He's being really effective going forward for Leicester City. And that's, again, something positive if you're looking at him as a signing. And the other thing is the transition threat. When he has space to play into, which, again, if we're thinking about Ten Hag in United, we do like to create that environment. He's good at it. He's really good at it. This weight of pass is absolutely brilliant. First time with his left foot, here in behind the opposition defence, and it's pretty much a perfect ball for his teammate to run onto. And then in this situation, he's going to get the ball onto his right foot and do a very similar sort of pass, but going the other way. It's a really good skill set to have. And again, he's going to slide the ball through. On this occasion, the goalkeeper does pretty well, but I really like the skill set which we're seeing. The question for me with Dewsbury-Hall is not over his quality. I think he's a really good player. I think he's really good. He's way better than the Championship. For me, the best player in the league by a mile. And he is absolutely a player which should be playing in the Premier League. At probably a club which is in Europe, realistically. I do think he is that good. The question is he what United need? Great player, but do United need this profile of a high 8 or someone who can play as a 10? I'm not too sure. I do have perhaps a couple of ideas, though, over or around what Ten Hag might be thinking, and what Ineos might be thinking, and what the club might be thinking moving forward. So the first idea is to play him in a midfield 3, where Kobbie Mainoo turns into a 6, which we have seen at times, and Bruno Fernandes obviously plays on the right-hand side of the attack. How would Dewsbury-Hall fit in here? To be honest, pretty well. You would build possession with a back 3, like this. Dalot would invert from right back, like so, and you've got your box shape in midfield. What I like about this box shape, though, is the dynamics we have. I love having a left footer in the left half space, a right footer in the right half space. It's so effective for swinging crosses into the box, particularly in an era in football where we see more and more teams getting men behind the ball, being super compact. The ability to swing a ball in from this sort of area is super dangerous, and I think Dewsbury-Hall would bring that to this United side, a tool which no one else really has. Would it work well with Rashford? To be fair, I think it would. We've seen his willingness to overlap in the final third and provide some width. Rashford likes to come inside. That could work. How about general possession play? Again, it could. He's decent at receiving the ball higher up the pitch. Again, I like his ability to play on the half turn, receive the ball on the back foot, spin the opposition player. I think that's good. He also brings drive to the midfield. The ability to carry the ball forward through the opposition's midfield. I like that a lot as well. I also like his transitioning threat from this sort of position, from this left half space. I think he could be really good, and it does kind of make sense. You can probably sense it. There is a but coming. What is the but on this occasion? I'm not convinced it's still the profile that we need. Do we need to be prioritising a high 8, particularly one which does overturn possession? Dewsbury-Hall is really good technically, he is great on the ball, but he is adventurous with his passing. He is someone who looks to risk the ball at times. Probably not to the extent of Bruno Fernandes, but he does risk possession quite a lot. Do we really want that in our midfield? Do we want 2 players in Dewsbury-Hall and Bruno Fernandes who are both going to be going for that all the time? I'm not so sure it works for me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Could that midfield 3 work? Does the balance work? I mean, I guess we get retention at the base of midfield here. We then get creativity on both sides of midfield here as well. So it could work. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. The other option, in my opinion, is to basically sign him and not play him. He's probably going to cost around, what, £30 million? Let's say you sell Scott McTominay for, what, 35 million plus? I would like to think. You're bringing in a slightly younger player. Could he be actually a backup to Bruno Fernandes? So again, you would play your back 4 shape. Kobbie Mainoo now becomes an 8 in this system, in my opinion. And you sign a new midfielder. Who would it be? I don't know. You guys can go wild in the comments with who you think it might be. But you could sign a different player to play here next to Kobbie Mainoo, and Bruno Fernandes plays in the 10. And that is your starting 11. However, when you want to protect Bruno Fernandes, bringing him out of the side, Dewsbury-Hall goes into this 10 position. Now, why is this a slightly better balance? Well, essentially, because we've got Dewsbury-Hall instead of Bruno, instead of as well as. When it's as well as, we've got 2 players who risk possession. When it's instead of course, we've only got 1. It would mean Kobbie Mainoo moving back to the side he's played this season and playing as an 8, which is a positive. In terms of, again, attacking a shape, R6 would play deep, Dallow would invert next to them, Kobbie would push high into the half space here, and Dewsbury-Hall would play on the left-hand side. Of course, again, you're going to get all the same strengths. You know, good in between the lines, good at receiving the ball, good on the half turn, good left foot, good passer, crosser, overlapper, whatever, in the final third of the pitch. You get all the same strengths. Of course, what we also have now, though, is a midfield which is more able to retain the ball. I like it. Again, though, there is a but coming, and the but on this occasion is Dewsbury-Hall good enough as your primary creator in a side which is aiming to be as good as what Manchester United want to be? I hope that made sense. When you're playing next to Bruno Fernandes is the main man who creates chances, and then you have someone next to him who also supplements it. Think of it like De Bruyne at City is the main creator, Bernardo Silva is the secondary creator, he still creates, but not as much as De Bruyne. Can Dewsbury-Hall make that step up in the Premier League to be the main creator? I'm not too sure. I guess it isn't as important because he's not starting every game. He is a backup or a rotation player to Bruno Fernandes, and you could bring him into the team to protect Bruno. The level's not going to drop drastically. You got yourself a good player. Again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Does this midfield balance work? If neither of them work, I don't know that it's a signing which makes too much sense. I think he's a really good player, and I think, you know, he deserves Premier League football next season. Maybe better than what Leicester will be. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I do think he deserves to play in the top half of the table next season. Is it Manchester United? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's what we need. It perhaps depends which idea Ten Hag is going for in terms of those 2 structures we just looked at. Is there another structure it could work in as well? If so, let me know in the comments down below. Apart from that, though, we are going to stop there for today. If Dewsbury-Hall, you know, we see more concrete links to the club, or he actually moves to the club, of course I would then go much more in depth into the intricacies of his game and how he does things. But for now, as a base level, this is what Dewsbury-Hall brings as a midfielder. Do you want it at United? Yes or no? Let me know what you think in the comments. But apart from that, we are finished. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.